I am just an ordinary, everyday, standard issue, regular sort of employee. In fact, I am so regular, the atomic clock from which the whole world sets its time is itself calibrated by my daily visit. So every morning when I go to powder my nose, whatever fraction of a millisecond that atomic clock is deviated from the previous 24 hours is automatically corrected. That is regular. I'm very fortunate. I've been blessed with a wonderful gift. A gift that's been a great friend to me, particularly years ago when I was in the army. And the gift is that when we were going out to live in the field, as we drove out of the camp gates, my internal clock that controls a certain vital daily function stopped. Was suspended. Call it what you will. But it meant that for 3 and sometimes 4 days, I did not have to make that visit. If you can appreciate that powdering one's nose in the field, often tactically, is a far from pleasant experience, then you will also be able to appreciate why this was such a wonderful gift. On short exercises, we'd be safely back in camp before the inevitable happened. However, on longer exercises, on the 4th day, look out. Now, just in case any of you have yet clicked onto the general direction in which I'm going here, I suppose I ought to explain that living under field conditions, what members of the armed forces do when they're living in the field. Now that could be out on the moors, the woods, the mountains, the desert, the jungle, wherever it may be. But there are some subtle differences between what is classified as field conditions between the various armed services. Says I do a job. For example, if you are in the Royal Air Force, living under field conditions would be the hardship. No. The deprivation. No. The inhumanity of having to slum it in a 4-star hotel without any room service. The poor little bloods. The British Army do it quite differently. Rubbish. If you are in the British Army and you're living under field conditions, you're likely to be dossing down in a ditch somewhere. A dry one if you're lucky. If there's no ditch handy, you dig yourself an hole and you doss down in there. If you're in close country with lots of cover around, maybe okay to doss down above ground. So there'll be you and your oppo, you're always in pairs, and you each got a poncho come ground sheet. One will be spread on the ground, the other one will be tied to branches or trees or sticks stuck in the ground to form some sort of a roof, and you both doss under there. But all these forms of accommodation do have one thing in common. They lack en-suite facilities. Not to worry, the British Army have 2 time-honoured, tried and trusted ways of dealing with this. The first one, if we are few in number and or we are not staying in this location very long, we would go for what I would term the informal method. And that is, at the appropriate time, I will take my tool entrenching 1, which is an army abbreviation for shovel. I will wander off, I'll find myself somewhere quiet. I dig myself a suitable hole of sufficient depth to bury for all time the incriminating evidence. I would drop my trousers, squat over the hole, open the sluice gates and do the business. Simple enough. No. Life is rarely that simple. Let us consider where it is we actually are. Let's say we're on exercise. Up on Brecon Beacons, up on the Welsh Hills, Selly Bridge, a soldier's out there. We're probably tactical. So we're likely to be dominating the high ground. That is army jargon for on top of the hill. Now on top of the hill is a good place to be, because up there we command the lower ground. We have best possible visibility all around. There will be cover out there, there will be dead ground we can't see, but we've got the best possible visibility. If the enemy is out there, we have a good chance of seeing him. And if he wants to take our position, he's got to come uphill. So we're ticking lots of boxes. But there could be a reason that we don't particularly want to dominate the underground. But we'll probably still be up there because we want to deny it to the enemy. We may not want it, but we certainly don't want it to happen. So there we are, up on top of this hill in Wales. If you just excuse me just for a moment, I'm going to take you toward entrenching one and wander off. Find a quiet little spot, nobody around. I don't want an audience, do I? And I set about digging myself a suitably sized hole of sufficient depth. Clunk! Half-inch of topsoil and bedrock. You try digging a hole in that. Somewhere else we could be is in the woods. Now the woods, they're good. The woods ticks lots of boxes. First of all, we got concealment. We can hide ourselves from the enemy in the woods. The woods provides a certain amount of protection from the elements. Wind, driving rain, and up in the Welsh hills, 2, maybe 3 days a year, shade from the scorching sun. Also provides raw materials to build shelter, and if the circumstances allow it, fuel for a fire. Woods are good. Hang on a minute, I'm a little job doing that, shan't we? I'll take the trawling drenching one. I go off and find myself a quiet little spot. Nobody around, and I set about digging my suitably sized hole. That. The ground is crisscrossed with tree roots, so I ain't going to dig it all here, that's for sure. So I look around. There's a clearing over there. May not be so many roots, so I move the clearing, but still it's thud. Tree roots go a long way and the ground is full. Now we need to remember, of course, I am doing this for a reason. Time is of the essence. Matters are pressing. So instead of digging a suitably sized hole of sufficient depth, I scratch a little channel, a little groove between the tree roots. It ain't big enough, and it certainly ain't deep enough, but it's going to have to do. So I drop my trousers, and I squat down over this little groove. And I'm peering back between my legs. The small target, I cannot see it. It's obscured by my trousers. So I cannot see the target, and I cannot see the payload delivery vehicle. This means I cannot apply the principles of marksmanship. RAF chaps, don't even worry yourself. Principles of marksmanship is a soldier thing. I am going to have to rely on judgment. And judgment is a fancy word for guesswork. Maybe it's the left. Forward just a little shake. That should be about right. Missed. Now, you're not going to believe this. I am in the middle of the woods and I can't find a stick anywhere. Not so much a twig. I scour the ground all around. There's nothing. All been picked up by the fire. And all the tree branches are way up in the woods. Hang on, there's one over there. It's a bit high, but I'm not going to get there. So I go over this branch and I give it a couple of half-hearted jumps and I'm just listening. If I put all the effort, all the energy into one jump, I might just get it. And I'm like, oh, that crap move with one hand. And I'm putting it down and he's trying to get away. He don't want me breaking bits off her. And he's trying to get away. And I kept my second hand up. And I'm bending it and I'm pushing it and twisting it and putting it. And it's full of sand, but it won't break. It just won't break. Cut it with a knife. So I hang on to him tight with his hand. He's still trying to get away. And I fumbled him quicker. And I kept me clasp knife out. I'm up here trying to undo my knife. And boom! The bloody branch is gone. 2 foot arm we was before. I ain't gonna get it. So I return to the scene of the crime. And I look there. There it is, just 2 inches away from the target. I'm going to have to use the tool of my boot, aren't I? It's going to have to be my boot. So very, very gently, I straighten it out, and I get in parallel with a little groove in the ground. And I gently nudge it forward. It won't fall in, it's stuck to my boot. So I give it a little flick. And it's still stuck to my boot. So I give him a little bit bigger flick. And it still stuck to me, but it certainly likes my boot. So I give him a bigger flick, and that was 2 foot over there. They didn't eat me being a soldier. Right, so that's the informal method for small groups, or if we're not staying there for more than a day. Let us now look at, there's a lot more of us. And or we are staying in this location for a lot longer than a day. Now clearly, you can't have loads of blokes wandering around, digging holes all over the place over a long period of time, because somebody's going to get a surprise. So we will now have to go for what I will term the formal method, and that is a proper latrine has to be done. We are now talking a serious hole, and seriously deep, and it will be for communal use. Now the example I'm going to give to you, I'm going to share with you, September 1974, and the 1st Battalion of the Light Infantry, of which I was part, are ordered to the then Crown Colony of British Honduras. The British Army were out there at the time. There's no Navy and there was no RAF there, it was just Army, but there's a significant Army presence there because Guatemala had been threatened for years. A lot of Royal Engineers there, the Army Air Corps there, were seeing helicopters, and the Royal Army Ordnance Corps, and all the rest of it. And one battalion of British infantry would be there for 6 months and then exchanged. Now, Belize, as it is now known, is largely jungle. So a lot of what we did out there was in the jungle. But the actual exercise I'm going to share with you wasn't in the jungle. It was very high up in the hills, in the pine forests. Now we were platoon strength, which is about 35 blokes, and we're going to go up on an exercise up in these pine woods for about a week. All our personal kits packed up, and we're going to be taken up in the back of a bed for a 3-tonner. And when we go to get in the 3-tonner, there's already loads of kit already piled up in the back, so we all climb in and squeeze as best we can. And we drive at the camp gates, and we go west, away from the coast. We pass over the low-lying swampy land that runs parallel to the coast, and we just go on. And the roads that weren't up to much anyway deteriorate into little more than tracks, and we just keep going. All Bedford winding on, take a few turns here and there, and we start to climb higher and higher. And we leave the hot, sweaty, humid jungle behind us, and eventually we emerge up in the cool, clean air of the pine forests and the Bedford. And eventually we arrive at his sort of a military encampment, I suppose. Not permanently manned, only used on an as and when basis when it's required. And it didn't look like anybody had been there for years. 2 great iron gate posts, skew with, gates long. Or I reckon somebody from down the Drew for a bit up that way, had a bit of jumping. The remains of a wire fence, went from one of the gate posts along the track, turned away, disappeared into the trees, to re-emerge over there and come back and join into the second post. Much of the fence was so low you could simply walk over it, and there was complete sections missing. I reckon that bloke from Drew for us and fence with his gates on it. Inside the gateway, clearing covered with branches and pine needles and leaves, all sorts of woodland litter that had accumulated since it was last used. And back behind there were 2 semi-derelict accommodation huts. And to the left, and set slightly back, was a man-made hill, about 8 feet high, shaped like a bit like a molehill, I suppose. Flat top, all covered in grass, and a path went from the clearing straight up onto the top. We started off unloading the 3-tonner. 2 blokes were detailed to grab hold of a wooden box, 2 foot square perhaps, maybe 2 foot 6 high, and they carried this box up the path onto the top. It was not a manhole cover. They lifted that, plopped the box down on top. The box had a lid and a wooden seat, and it's the thunder box. More blokes have got bundles of poles, about 5 foot long, twice as thick as a broom handle, and these are being driven into the ground, about 6 feet apart, up one side of the path, round the thunder box, back down the other side. And to this is fixed rolls of black hessian. So we've got this 4 foot high screen all the way up. There we are, that's the sanitary arrangements. The platoon sergeant then drops his bombshell. This is for officers I thought he was joking at first, but he wasn't bloody joking. That was only for officers, and we had one officer, a lieutenant. All that was for him. What about the rest of us? Well, 3 or 4 blokes are detailed to go down to the back of the camp and on the tree somewhere and dig a proper tree. Now, luckily I wasn't one of those detailed to dig it, and I knew I would be going in there for days, so I paid a little heed to that. The rest of us were detailed to get the clearing all sorted out. Everything clear. Oh, sorry, the square. It isn't the clearing anymore, it's now the square. I'm going to clear out the huts, pay particular attention to any holes in the wooden floor and in the wooden walls, because snakes and scorpions could be living in there. And when we finished all this, it was early evening, and we think we're going to have an evening off. No such stuff. It's now a night navigation exercise till 2 o'clock. I will now shoot off down the other side of it. It's got nothing to do with the main story, but it's quite fascinating in a boring sort of way. A few days before we went up there, I started getting a sharp pain in my left shoulder blade, right in the centre. And it would last for a maximum of a minute, but really agonising and sharp. It's like someone with a sharp screwdriver digging it right into the meat and wiggling it around. And then suddenly it's gone. And this would happen a few times a day. And the worst time was always 6 o'clock at night. So I knew it was going to come. Anyway, after a couple of days of this, I decided to go across to the medical section. Now, to be fair to our medical team, I did not report formally sick in the morning. I didn't go on formal sick pay. I just wandered over across during the day and saw the duty medical. Come from there this way, that chap. Hell of a nice bloke. I'm not going to tell you his name, because you won't even know it. Real proper chap. Useless medic, but a fantastic bloke. So I told him to take. Got just the stuff for you, he says. Off he goes. You come back, a little tube of white cream. Funny name, right? I think it may be called panacea. They seem to use it for everything. Heart attack, broken leg, kidney failure. Rub some of this in, Brian, you'll be right as right. Anyway, so I took this cream away, rubbed it in, and it didn't make a bother. So I didn't bother to go back. I had to wear on the top. So there we are, up in this pine camp, and this is still happening. Now, about the third night, we had the night off, so you can imagine it. We had a big fire going, having a sing-song noise. And I noticed that the platoon sergeant was away from the main bunch, and he's doing something to the bloke's back. What the hell's going on now? More than that, I see what's going on. So I wandered up there, and the chap was sitting on the log, stripped to the waist, leaning slightly forward. And the platoon sergeant had a burning cigarette, and he's put it to his back. Not quite touching, right up close. Hold there for a second or two, do many sort of a wriggle, and he'd take it away. For a few seconds, and he'd put it back. There's 4 or 5 blokes that I watching. Now apparently this chap had a thing in his back called a beefworm. Some insect or something, and it lays its egg in a open wound, or a festering mosquito bite. It lays its egg in there, and of course it incubates all nice and warm in there for enough in there, this beef right there. And then when it hatches out into a grub, the grub gets hungry. And when he's a bit, feels like a snack, he just chomps at whatever's around him. And it's meat. Loads of meat. And it's very painful for the person whose meat it is. So I said to him, all right, I've got one of them. He said, right, he said, you're next. I continued to watch, and he kept putting that cigarette back. And eventually it got so hot in there, he had to come out. And there's only one way out. So he stuck his head out. You could see him gasp around, bloody hell, that's better. And he grabbed hold of him and teased me. Yeah. Anyway, he did the same to me, and that was the end of it. Anyway, back to the main story then. back to the toilet bit then. So the morning of the 4th day, I woke early. The slightest sensation, and I knew from experience that today was a day. And I also knew from experience that labour would be short. So I got up and had a look around. And the first signs of dawn was just coming through the trees. There's nobody about, apart from 2 chaps down guarding again. Okay, well, of course we all had to do guard duties through everything. And it struck me as being slightly bizarre, really, an entire army could walk into the camp virtually anywhere, and the two blokes on the they just standing out. Certainly not be something, I suppose. Anyway, I set off in the general direction of where I knew the retreat to be, and I soon picked up a well-trodden path. As I got nearer, the perfume in the air confirmed that indeed I was going in the right direction. After a while, it was better to breathe through my mouth than it was through my nose. And then suddenly I stopped, because ahead of me was an amazing sight. It was a bit like a scene from the film The Battle of Britain. The sky was full of thousands of insects all flying about over this pit. To them, the perfume was obviously to their liking. I moved nearer, and I looked into this pit. And down there was a world unto itself. Just a carpet of insect life, all moving about, crawling about. That's all you see was thousands of insects, taking their harvest from what my colleagues so generously removed. Contractions are now very, very close. Time has come. I drop my trousers and I grab hold of the branch, the overhanging branches of which the tree has been conveniently done, and I swung it over the pit. What happened next can best be described as 8.5 on the Richter scale. For the merest fraction of a second, and I was completely drained in both senses of the word. I barely had the strength to pull myself clear, and I'm clear. It was a disaster. That whole world seemingly wiped out. Everything buried under this brown, glutinous mass. No sign of movement, well, apart from the drip coming off the side of the hole. Nothing. And then a miracle. First one, and then 10, and then scores of little insects fighting their way through to the surface to set about rebuilding that world. Isn't nature a wonderful thing? As for me, I was then back on my normal 24-hour recycling, and the atomic clock can once again be reset on a daily basis. Any questions?